Hi guys, this is Mrs. Hill. This is lesson number 1 for the week. Our book this week, the title of our book is Naming the Cat. The author is Lawrence Pringle, and it is illustrated by Catherine Potter. Just by looking at the cover of this book, looks like one of the main characters is a black cat. Looks like he's got some white feet and a little white chin. I have a black cat. I'm kind of partial to black cats. I just kind of like cats overall. So anyhow, we're going to look at this title. This is a fiction title. We're going to talk about the elements of fiction as we go through the story this week. This is an AR test. We will take the AR test at the end of the week after we have finished our book, as we have finished our skill sheet for the week. And it'll give you an opportunity to take an AR test and keep adding to that point value. So anyhow, let's do a little preview of our questions first. With a fiction topic, oftentimes you get a little preview of what the story's about by reading the questions first. So that's where we're going to start. In your skill packet, you will have 2 pages this week that we will work from. The directions say answer the questions using the book. So you'll use information from the book to answer your questions. And we are going to practice writing in complete sentences. We're going to restate part of the question to begin our answer. And then we will use information from the book to complete that answer. So anyhow, naming the cat, page number 1. First question is, who are the main characters? I'm going to label these questions for us up here in the left-hand corner. They are not numbered on your skill packet, but I'm going to stick a number in there just to kind of help us keep a couple things straight. So we are going to identify who the main characters are. The second question, how does the cat come to be part of the family? So it looks like our black cat is going to join somebody's family. So it'll be fun to see how that happens. Question number 3. What are some of the names they think of for a cat? If you've ever gotten a new pet, I know as my children were young, there was always a big debate, sometimes an argument over what we were going to name that new pet. The pets in my family are still childhood pets of my children's that we rescued and found and adopted. And the 2 cats in particular, my kids argued over their names. So we'll see what are some of the names that this family comes up with for the cat. Question number 4. What do they end up naming the cat? They is in reference to the family. Sometimes when the pronouns change in your questions, you have to remember what the questions were about before, or what was going on in the story. Sometimes pronouns change throughout questions or throughout a story. So again, they is referring to the family. So what do they end up naming the cat? Why do they name him that? So there'll be a fun reason. So that's a 2-part question there. What do they name the cat, and why do they name him the cat? So we'll see what that part of the story is about. These last 2 questions, so these are going to be questions 5 and 6. If a stray cat or dog came to your door, what would you do? So this question is going to be an opinion question. It's your opinion. You will stick in there on question 5. There is going to be no wrong answer for that. I know I had a conversation with a couple of you this past week. Those questions are hard for you. So keep in mind when a question's asking you what would you do, there's no wrong answer. Strictly your opinion or what you would do or what you would like to do. And number 6, what would you have named the cat? So Again, questions 5 and 6 are your opinions. We will talk about that kind of fun stuff as we go through the lessons. Down here where it says draw a picture of Lucky, I'm not going to have you do that. I've decided it's too hard to try and draw in your Google Classroom in a Google document. So if we were here in my classroom at Russell McDowell, we would draw a picture of Lucky just because it's a fun thing to do. And down here kind of gives you an idea. Draw a picture of Lucky. There's a story character. So we'll see who Lucky is. Okay. So that's a little preview of your skill packet. You will find that in your Google Classroom. And again, there's 2 pages and a total of 6 questions we will work on this week. So I highlighted a few things in those questions. We'll use that highlighted information as we go through our story and through our lessons this week. We'll use that highlighted information to make nice answers, nice complete sentences to answer your questions, because it says use a complete sentence. We will continue to practice that. All right. So there's a story preview using our questions. I'm going to switch back over to the book. We're going to look at these great illustrations. I have no artistic ability myself. I am not able to draw anything. I always enjoy people's illustrations as it brings the story to life for us in so many different books that we'll look at this year. So let's do a little picture walk. We'll take a look at the illustrations, and here's an important one, the very beginning. So looks like a little girl's got a cat in her backpack. Let's take a look here. Just the illustrations. We're just doing a little picture walk. Illustrations kind of give you an idea of what the setting is going to be for the story. Uh-oh. If anybody has a cat, my cat is always on the daggone table. Always on a table somewhere. Look here. Cat looking in the mirror. My cats love to look in mirrors. Uh-oh. Look here. Got a cat jumping through the air, knocking a vase over. That too happens at my house every time I have a flower arrangement or I fill a vase with flowers from outside. If I don't put it up high enough, the cats are going to get into it every time. More illustrations. Look at these thought bubbles. Do you see how there's a character here and there's these 3 little dots and then there's what's called a thought bubble? So this character is thinking about something. So anytime you see these little 3 dots and then a kind of a cloud or a bubble up above a character, look, here's one as well. That's going to tell you that a character is thinking about something. It's the way the illustrator shares information with you, kind of develops the story. Well, dog looks grouchy, doesn't he? As we get through the end of the story, we will pay particular attention to some details in these illustrations as well. Look at this poor little kitty. So it looks like some kids standing in front of a blackboard. We'll see where they are here and what they're talking about. Looks like a bunch of kids, a cat, an open window. That kind of looks disastrous, doesn't it? There's our kitty cat. And if you guys have a cat, if you've got a refrigerator, I have had cats in the past that anytime they could get on top of that refrigerator, they love being up high. So that cat on that refrigerator kind of makes me chuckle because I've had that happen at my house too. So today's lesson, we're going to focus on pages 5 through 11. We are going to get the story started, naming the cat. Again, the author, the person that wrote the words, is Lawrence Pringle, illustrated by Catherine Potter. So we're going to hit pages 5 through 11 today, and let's do a little vocabulary look. Here's a word we need to pay attention to. It's curious. The next word is exploring. If you look at this illustration, a cat comes to a family's house, more curious than afraid. He walks around the house exploring. So it sounds like the cat is new in this family's house. And they are they are afraid if they've never been inside before. On page 8, the word we want to look at is missing. Do the neighbors seem to be missing a cat? Look at all of these people kind of looking at the cat, trying to figure out if somebody might have lost him. And on page 10, we've got the word name. We've got the word suggested right here. And then we have the word agree. So agree is here. Agree is one of those words that's kind of hard. Everybody's got to agree on something. So let's look at the illustrations on page 10 and 11. Mom asks what they should name the cat. They all suggest names, but they could not agree on just one. So let's see how our story starts. Let's pay particular attention to the characters that we meet today, and we will also pay particular attention to how this cat became a part of this family. One morning, a cat came calling at our back door. We gave him some milk in a saucer. He asked for seconds. He was more curious than afraid, walking from room to room, exploring. He rubbed his body against chair legs and our legs. Then he snuggled in a lap and took a nap. Looks like he's snuggled up in Dad's lap here, doesn't he? Is anyone missing a cat? We asked all over the neighborhood. The cat seemed to be ours. Looks like a little wiener dog right here barking at the cat. I also have a wiener dog. What shall we name the cat? Mom asked. Cinderella, my sister suggested. That's a girl's name, said Mom, and this is a boy cat. We all began to suggest names for the cat. Bubba, Purry, Kabuki, Scruggs, Scamper, Furface. We could not agree on a name. That's okay, said Dad. We can call him Cat or Kitty for a while. Sooner or later, one name will seem just right. So that's as far as we are going to read today. Going back to your skill sheet. We're going to answer question 1. We're going to restate part of that question to begin our answer, and I've highlighted the part of that question that we are going to use to begin our answer. So the question says, who are the main characters? We are going to restate the main characters. So I'm going to turn this sideways for just a second. So we're going to capitalize the word the, beginning of the sentence. The main characters. And we're going to put are. That's a transition word there. Okay, so that's the part of our question that we restated. Now we're going to kind of list the main characters, and I'm going to draw a couple lines here. I'm going to put a comma. Anytime you make a list inside a sentence, you put a I used a comma to separate them. I'm going to give us 4 for today. We will not finish this answer. When we finish the sentence, we'll put a period at the end of that sentence. But for today, we are going to just restate part of our question to begin our answer. The main characters are, we met 4 characters today. We met 5. All right, so I've made 5 blank lines. Used a comma to separate each of those lines. I need you to fill in those blank lines with the main characters. And here on page 10 gives you a little preview of the main characters. So we got a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, and a stray black cat. So I think that's a good start on the main characters for our story. So again, don't put a period at the end of your answer quite yet until we make sure we've got all those characters listed in our first answer. Question number 2, how does the cat come to be part of the family? What I want to do on that one, again, we're going to restate part of that question to begin our answer. We might not have our answer today, but I do want to go ahead and get our restating done. So we're going to say the cat, and we have to change come to came. The cat came to be part of the family. I'm going to use the word when right here. This is our transition word. You've got to transition between the subject and the predicate of your sentence. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to, you don't put the blank lines, but I'm going to put them in there. The cat came to be part of the family when. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and get that part of your answer finished. Once we have the detail or the predicate part of the sentence, we'll fill that in and put our period in there. That means we've got our sentence completed. So that one, I think you might have an idea of how he came to be a part of this family in our story, but we might have some additional details that we'll use in the coming lessons. So you can get that part of your question started. And question 3, this will be the last one that we're going to restate today. So we are going to use part of our question again to restate and begin our answer. So we're going to use some of the names they think of for the cat. And then you, and I'm going to use R again as a transition word. And I'm going to put some blank lines in here. We'll fill in those blank lines. Because there's lots of names thrown around here. So for today, some of the names they think of for the cat are, if you go back to page 11, it gives you like 6 different names the family is throwing around one evening trying to get this sweet kitty cat a name. So we've got at least 6 names there. I gave you 8 blank lines, but you can at least fill in 6 today. So there are 6 names the family were throwing around to name their cat. So Bubba, Kabuki, Purry, Furface, Scruggs, and Scamper. Those were all names they were throwing around with that story or with the naming of the cat in this part of our story. So that's what we're going to work on today. If you need to pause part of the video for anything, you might be able to pull 2 tabs on your Google Classroom, have the video part of this lesson in one tab and your skill packet in another tab. You can have 2 tabs so you can refer back and forth. You can pause the video on any page that you need and then flip over to the other tab where you've got your skill packet open. So that might help you get those answers filled in as we go along. Again, if you need to go back and pause anything, you should be able to in this video. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in lesson number 2 of our book, and we'll go from there. I'm always available through Remind if you have questions. Thank you.